Hey guys, today we are comparing two awesome smart vacuums from Dreame. You had my favorite from last year, which was the L20, which was their flagship of 2023. And this year they just released the X40. Previously they did the X30, but a couple months later they already have the X40. But I wanted to see where it stacks up between last year's winner that comes in around about $1,000 and then this new X40 that is $1,900. Wow. Is it really worth that much? Let's find out. Let's jump in the video. First off, I want to thank Dreame for sending both of these out to me for a full honest review, but this is not sponsored in any other way. Now, I'm not going to be spitting out every spec for spec. Yes, I'll be mentioning some that I think are different than the other, but this is really about personal use of using the L20 for almost a year now, and now the X40 for about a month, and really finding what the differences are and how they actually operate differently in my everyday life rather than the actual specs. So if I don't mention the actual spec, that's because they're usually the same in both. So the first major difference is their suction power. The brand new X40 comes in at 12,000 pascals of suction, which is just crazy. I think that's the highest one thus far. I kind of feel like they just keep upping the number, where the L20 comes in at 7,000 pascals of power. But in everyday life, when I'm just cleaning the house, when I'm running it, I cannot tell any difference. Now, obviously, there's YouTubers out there that put it to a very scientific test. Not really, but you know what those tests look like. But you might be able to tell a difference in those types of tests, but in reality, in everyday life, you're not going to notice a difference. Now, where you might be able to notice a difference is the amount of sound that it makes. I'm going to put these both on their max level and show you what they sound like. And now I'm going to run them on quiet mode and you can listen. Alright guys, I hope that sound test was useful. If it was, make sure you hit that like button. Now moving on to the second big difference between these two is the base station. And what I mean by this, by a big difference, is because the L20 base station is much bigger than the X40, as you can see here. Now there's also a couple differences in its operation, not just the size, but if you're worried about size, the X40 looks better and it's smaller in my opinion, but that's just subjective. So if you like the look of the L20 better, then go for the L20, but there's a couple other factors in the base station. First one is that the X40, you can provide your own soap. You can buy the soap from Dreame if you want to and put it in there, but it has its own container where you can fill up with your own soap. Where the L20, you have to buy their bottles because it has to be plugged in, be pushed in into that spot where the soap dispenser is. I guess you could jerry-rig this bottle somehow, but it's so much easier in the X40 to provide your own soap and put it into the dispenser without having to jerry-rig anything. Now the X40 base station also has self-cleaning, meaning that it has these little wipers that are powered by the vacuum mopping system by rotating around. That's going to wipe the bottom of the tray clean. Now, this does a good job, but only where those wipers actually reach. So you're still going to have to get in there and clean from time to time, but really does a good job to help minimize how much work you actually have to do. But like I said, you still have to get in there from time to time just to get the edges and make sure nothing's clogged. So don't think it's a set it and forget it type of thing just because it has these little wipers. Yes, it helps out, but you still have to get in there. So both these changes in the X40 are nice to have, but definitely not worth the price of the upgrade. But the one thing that is kind of worth the upgrade, you kind of have to weigh it in your budget, is the brand new extendable and liftable side brush. This thing is pretty cool. You've seen this probably in other brands, but this is the first one of Dreame that has this extendable side brush. You see it with your own eyes. It's pretty cool. Now you have to weigh it for yourself to see if it's worth that extra amount of money. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but if you have dirty corners, this is the only Dreame that can get deep into those corners and get all the dirt out of them. Now this also does have the extendable mop arm just like the L20, but just like the X30, which had the robo swing, which will actually swing that mop arm under like door frames and stuff. The X40 has that, but the L20 does not have that swing. It can bring the mop out, but won't do a swing under the door frames and other lower places. So it's really nice that it can mop in those extended areas, just it won't go as far as going under things like the X30 and the X40. Also, the X40 has Omni dirt detection, so when it goes back to the base station, if it detects that the floors are still dirty, it has like some little sensor or something, it'll send the vacuum back out, which was pretty cool. I don't think that's a huge selling point simply because it does a great job at vacuuming and mopping to begin with. Both the L20 and the L40 really does a great job at cleaning. Obviously, the X40 does better in the corners with that robo arm that comes out. Just absolutely love that. All right, let's wrap up this video and give you my final thoughts. What I think of the brand new X40. Well, it's pretty awesome as you can tell, but is it worth that extra dollars? Wow, that is a very expensive vacuum. But if you have a very dirty house, or you gotta have it perfectly clean in the corners with that robo brush coming out, that is pretty sweet. It is the only vacuum that is able to get all that dust and dirt in the actual corners, which is pretty nice. But other than that, everything else is just a spec, and there's not much difference between the L20 and the X40 except for that brush. Yes, it's nice to have the self-cleaning docking station, but it doesn't do 100%. You still have to get in there now and then to clean it up, but definitely helps out just a little bit. But since you still gotta get in there, hey, I don't think it's worth that extra money you spend. Where the robo swing with that brush, that's very, very expensive for the way it is, but definitely I kind of like it. Would I spend that amount? Probably not. Probably not. It's very expensive for just a little arm coming out. I might just have to wait for the next model for the robo arm and just stick with the L20. It does a great job. It does pretty much everything that the X40 can do except for the corners, which most of the time I can just get the corners myself. So that is what I think. Both of these are great smart vacuums. You won't be disappointed with either one of these. But the L20 is saving a bundle with the X40, getting that robo's arm coming out and getting that brush. Gotta love it. I absolutely love that little brush, but you know, I love my money also. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me. I hope this video was helpful. Hit that subscribe button if you're brand new here for more great tech content. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this down in the comments below. Hit that like button, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.